Hello. I have been tempted to start like a YouTube channel or something similar for a long time now, but I wasn't really sure what I would talk about, what the videos would be about. I feel like I have a lot to say and a lot of things to offer, but I don't know what the theme would be or where to begin. But I just felt really compelled this morning to speak on something, so I figured I would give this a shot, put it out there, and see what happens. I had a friend that I was speaking with online mention that they were having difficulty with one of their friends who was kind of taking advantage of them, and my acquaintance described her friend's personality and said that she was the type to tend to turn things around on them and, make it like nothing was their fault, turn it around on the other person, and, make my acquaintance feel like garbage. And that really struck a chord within me because I have a lot of personal experience with narcissists and manipulative people. I was married to one. And I think it's important for people to know how to deal with these kinds of individuals because they seem to be everywhere lately, unfortunately. The first thing you have to realize about narcissists, or the textbook definition of a narcissist, is someone that is very self-centered. They're never wrong. They can't accept the fact that they're wrong about something. It will tear down this whole facade that they've built about themselves. So they will never admit wrongdoing. They will project their wrongdoings onto other people. The important thing to understand about these kinds of individuals is that their only power is in their words. That's the only power that they hold. Most of the time, they're actually very fragile individuals. They're very broken, which is why they act the way that they do and why they treat others the way that they do. If you allow their words to hold power over you, then they won. One way to get around this is to either not let them speak. If you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying, with one of these kinds of individuals, and you're trying to get a certain point across, be it, hey, you're doing this and it's bothering me, can we talk this out? And of course that narcissistic individual is going to try to turn it around on you and make it your fault because that's what they do. You either just be like, nope, no, no, and interrupt them every time they try to talk, or you use a strategy that I've been taught to use as a teacher many times, and it's called the broken record strategy. You keep repeating the phrase that you're trying to say, wherever it may be. Say, as a teacher in my case, I'll have kids try to start an argument with me, try to start a power struggle, which is what manipulators and narcissists are all about. They're all about that power struggle. I'll tell a kid, please be quiet and sit down. And they try to start an argument with me. You don't allow that. You say you repeat the same thing. Please stop talking and sit down. Please stop talking and sit down. In the same fashion, you can do that with manipulators and narcissists, because eventually, if you show them that their words don't have power, you're not listening, you're tuning them out, and you're repeating your instruction, or you're just refusing to hear their nonsense straight out, they will stop and maybe actually listen to what you're saying, or maybe they won't. The unfortunate thing about those types of people is that 9 chances out of 10, unless they're able to or willing to seek help for themselves and change their behaviors, you are probably going to have to cut them out of your life. you know, if you are dealing with someone like this in a friendship relationship, or even worse, a romantic relationship or a marriage like I was, they're very hard to get out of the closer you are to the person. That's just the nature of it. If it's a friendship and you've tried and you've given them opportunities and they still continue to project all of their problems onto you, it may be time to just be like, bye. Manipulators and narcissists are toxic people by nature. Do they have a reason for the things they do? Of course they do. We all have reasons for the way that we act, be it environmental, bad childhood, whatever the case may be. If I were to do a psychoanalysis, I can talk, I promise. If I were to do a psychoanalysis on it, I would probably guess that these types of individuals had some form of trauma or some form of bad experience, or were hurt so badly that instead of most people like myself who said, okay, I've been through this trauma, I'm going to work on myself, focus on myself, and just keep on pushing, keep on trying to be a better person, these narcissists and manipulators say, okay, the world has hurt me enough times, I'm going to hurt the world. And at their core, they're very insecure, and they project that onto other people. They prey on others' insecurities. Because they are insecure, they project onto others their own insecurities. My ex-husband did that a lot. He was a very fragile individual, but instead of admitting that, admitting that he was fragile and that he needed help, he would just pick at my insecurities and hurt me, because apparently, you know, that would make him feel more powerful and more important and less weak. Instead of facing his own insecurities and addressing them, he would pick at mine. I can't tell you how many times I got picked at for my weight, or, you know, my kind of shyness in certain areas, and, you know, things like that got them thrown back in my face, because that's what narcissists and manipulators do. They are too afraid to face their own issues, so they throw them at other people. So be very cautious when dealing with these people. If you've done all you can, you've prayed for them, oh, thank you, train, for being all loud. If you've prayed for them and you've attempted to rationalize with them, which is very hard because these kinds of individuals don't like hearing rational thought. They just forget it. And don't dare ever give them an ultimatum. That just makes it 10 times worse. If you've tried what you can and they're continuing to take advantage, they're not hearing you, they're making you feel like garbage, I don't care how long you've been friends with that person, it's time to go. It's time to go. They can be your best friend, and if they're starting to make you question yourself and make you feel lesser of a person, and making you so confused, like, am I really a horrible person? Am I really a fat, ugly witch? Am I really all these things that this person is saying about me? You start to believe it, and you're giving those people the victory. You're giving them the power, because you're looking and you're allowing them to make you feel like garbage about yourself. If you are at that point, I don't care how deep in the relationship you are, I don't care if you're married to the person, if you're considering getting married to the person, if they're your best friend, a family member, it's time to step back and possibly say goodbye. It is never okay to allow another human being to tell you how you should feel about yourself. It is never okay for another human being to make you feel horrible and lesser of a person because they have issues. for them to project their own problems onto you. That is never acceptable. Ever. To invalidate your feelings. Your feelings are valid because they're your feelings. You own them, they're valid, and anybody that genuinely cares about you would care about how you feel. And that's pretty much the end of it. I don't know if this will help anybody. I just feel like this was really laid on my heart this morning, and I needed to speak about it because there are so many people out there allowing these manipulators and these narcissists and these soul suckers, whatever you want to call them, because that is what they can be, allowing them to make them question themselves and question their own self-worth. But the key thing to remember is the only power these individuals have is their words. That's it. They don't have physical power over you. It's just their words. If you take away their words, they have nothing left to hurt you with. You have disarmed them. If you show them that their words no longer have the desired effect, then the joy is just sucked out of it, and you are left looking at what they truly are, which is a sad, broken human being. If you have a narcissist in your life, a manipulator that is truly working on themselves, and they are trying, and they are, praying and self-evaluating and things like that, don't give up on them, by all means. Because it is a hard thing to break out of. It's a hard cycle to break. But if it's a person that you can tell just isn't even trying, like unfortunately my ex, and he probably still is trapped in that cycle, and it's never his fault. If it's one of those situations, you have to do what's best for you and walk away. Always pray for them, always wish them well, but don't let them suck you into that black hole, because you're better than that.